Hey, it's Aaron, and I have a pretty quick question here from Vic that is pretty good. He just had a head gasket replaced and he wants to know, why was it so cheap at a mechanic versus the factory or a dealership? Why is it more expensive to do it there versus the local mechanic? And the short answer is workmanship. I don't like to use that word because it implies that the local mechanic is not good in comparison. It's a question of how much work is being put into it. So when you go to most mechanics and you have a head gasket replaced, most of the time they're going to tear it down they're going to take the head off, so they're tearing it down to the block, and then they're basically going to replace that gasket and put it all back together. They're probably going to also do timing and other things because they've already got all of that pulled off to do this. But the point is, the head gasket itself, they're probably just going to clean those surfaces, put the new gasket on, and put it all back together, and they're done. If you do it at a dealership or the factory, especially the factory, they're going to go one step further. They're going to 100% make sure that all those surfaces are flat, and they are going to flatten them if they aren't. And 9 times out of 10, an older car, the surface on those surfaces, there's been enough warping as it heats and cools that those surfaces are not flat. They're not perfect, and they do need it. Now, the tolerances they're set by the factory, but they're not always followed. So your local mechanic may not even have the tools to actually check those tolerances. So they'll just put a flat edge across everything in a few directions and be like, yeah, everything looks good, I don't see any gaps. For a home mechanic, that's perfectly fine. It's what I did when I've done heads. But at the factory, and most of the time at the dealership, they have the tools to actually check that perfectly, and they will mill it to clean it up and make it perfectly flat. So that's a huge difference between the two, and honestly, it's the biggest not only cost difference, but also longevity difference. A factory installed gasket or seal will last far longer than a seal installed by a regular mechanic. And again, it's just down to that. It's not one is better than the other. You do pay a lot more for that dealership or factory job. It's not really that one is better than the other. It's a question of, what do you want? If you are expecting to drive this vehicle for a very long time and you want those replaced and done right, I would do the dealership factory option. But if this is a car that you've had for quite a while and you're just trying to keep it running, and the local mechanic is fine. There's no knock against either approach. It's really a question of how much are you willing to spend, and is it worth it to you? So there you go. Hopefully that answers that question. It's a pretty good one. I know head gaskets aren't one of those things that come up too often, but they do come up, and it is a major mechanical setback that can cost the value of the vehicle to have it done. So it's important to know whether or not it's worth that expenditure. All right, that's it. If you've got questions, you can hit me up. You can find me on the Facebooks and the Twitters and the X's and whatnots. Just tag me, DM me, whatever, so I see it. You can hit me up in just the comments right below this video. You can find me on Carney's Cafe, DriveModeShow.com, places like that. Hit me up, ask your question. I'll do my best to answer it. All right, this has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.